Hey, Redemption Gateway, Josh here, and I get to bring you today's daily dose. I want to ask you a question. It mostly pertains to those of us with young kids now in our homes, and they are there to stay. How do you get your kids to be quiet? A more crass way to say it is, how do you get your kids to shut up? If you have an answer, please call me. We're trying to figure that out. But the reality is, it gets loud. And we as Christians live in a loud world. In this passage I'm going to look at made me think of something. We live in a loud world where people have lots to say about Christianity, about Jesus, about our faith, and it's not all positive. In fact, a lot of it's negative. People are hostile towards Jesus and towards our faith and towards the church, and they have a lot to say. How do we get them to be quiet? How do we silence that? And this passage is just so spot on for the moment we live in. Peter has an answer to the Christians of his day who are living dispersed and dealing with hostility wherever they're at. And hostility probably a lot worse than what we deal with, but they're dealing with people who are loud against their faith, their Messiah, their Jesus. And Peter has something to say to them on how to silence that. And I want to read it. So it's in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 13. We're going to read 14 as well, and 15. But it says this: "Be subject for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether it be to the emperor supreme or to governors as sent by him to punish those who do evil and to praise those who do good. For this is the will of God, that by doing good you should put to silence the ignorance of foolish people." Peter, how do we silence foolish, hostile people? Be subject for the Lord's sake to every human institution. Can you be more specific, Peter? Yes. If it's an emperor, be subject to him. If it's a governor, be subject to him. If it's the county, be subject to it. Why? Because in so doing good, you just might silence the critics of Jesus, our faith, and the church. Redemption Gateway, one of the end results of this coronavirus just might be that some of the criticism gets turned down towards Jesus. Why? Because they're going to watch us be subject to every institution in doing good, and they will be silenced. And not only silenced, but people might actually be won over to our faith by watching us live out this very passage that Peter gives us here. So Redemption Gateway, be subject for the Lord's sake, whether it's an emperor, whether it's a governor, whoever it may be, do good. And in so doing, we just might silence the criticism against our Savior and our God. Love you, Redemption Gateway. See you next time.